Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Entrepreneur Journey Chats. I started these so that we could support people on the LinkedIn platform to hear how entrepreneurs or business owners had the amazing insights, tips, golden nuggets about how they've grown their businesses. And I thought it'd be lovely for you to meet people from all over the world with all their talents. And I'm delighted today to have my good friend Gordon over from Houston today.
Texas. It's great to see you.
USA. It's amazing. It's fantastic to have you on. It really, really is. And I know that people will be blown away listening to you. So everybody needs to listen to this till the end, because I always give some giveaways at the end, and I'll let you know where you get those from. But let's kick straight off and hear all about Gordon Hester. Gordon's an entrepreneur and a business strategist. For 25 years, Gordon was the CEO of Roberti Enterprises, which was a conglomerate of various companies and best known for building one of the largest global distributorships in the history of the direct selling industry, with sales in excess of 10 billion and a sales organization exceeding 100,000 distributors in over 25 countries. Wow. During this period, he coached and trained thousands of entrepreneurs in North America, 15 European member countries, Israel, and Australia. After retiring in April 2016, Gordon started his own global business consultancy practice. And the focus of his consultancy practice was B2B, primarily with startup and mid-sized global companies. The scope of his counseling is very broad, but always focused on problem solving, both in operations and sales. And much of that work is on business strategies and the development of systems and process necessary to advance momentum in their businesses. In 2018, Gordon launched his global technology business called Shape Tech Solutions, and found time to write a best-selling book, Positioned Right, with all his insights and wisdom in one place. Unbelievable, Gordon. Gordon and I have shared many international stages speaking on leadership and transformation, and delighted you are speaking today. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the kind introduction.
No, your track record, your business journey, your life's journey has been inspiring, as I've read, to so many people, and I'm delighted to call you a friend, but also you still bring so much value. Hence, I wanted you to be on one of my podcasts here so that we could just share it. So I'm going to jump straight into the first question. You know, I believe that there is an art to personal leadership. I believe there is a winning formula of success with entrepreneurs. And would you share with us 2 or 3 insights that have helped you along your journey?
Yeah, when I look at success, I actually created a formula called EEFF formula. And it basically comes down to effort, execution, focus, and faith. So it was interesting. I kind of built this as an algorithm. And if you took those things and I said, okay, what percentage from 0 to 100 would you align with that? And then you multiply those things, it sort of tells you what your probability of success is. And it also indicates something really important, that one weakness affects everything in a big way. Yeah. So I think that formula always gave me the blueprint for success. But for me, I think the big kind of takeaway from my success is early on in my career, when I wanted to be successful in business, I needed to figure out what was the path to success. And to me, it's about problem solving and people. And more important, people, because most of the problems I had to solve were related to people. And it's taken me on really a 30-year journey about people, how they think, how they act, what makes them happy, how their need structures are, the idea of cultural addiction, how they operate in communities. Mm-hmm. And the mastery of this and understanding how they think, learning how to master connection. So connection to me is just 3 words: trust, care, help. So knowing that people could trust me, they know that I care and that I could help them in some way, really becoming a strong relationship builder, attracting the right people, but really building magical relationships. And really a big part of that for me as a leader was recognizing the importance of execution people. Like the magic's in the trenches. So the stronger I have a team working there that I lead, the more it seems to make me look like I'm a brilliant leader, when in reality, it's always the people. And then I think the other one that really stands out to me is, I think any good leader has a like a DNA for learning and staying relevant in the marketplace. I was a good student, but not a big fan of traditional learning, but I'm an avid learner. I spend as much time today, actually probably more learning today than I ever have at any point in my career, at a point where I don't even have to work. But it's, if you have a love of impact, and business is my canvas in life to make a difference, then you're always going to improve your craft. There's always a higher gear. I think we could live forever and not learn anything. So I take every moment to try to get better at what I do. And I think those have been the key things for me.
Fantastic. I mean, I think your second book should be Love the Impact, because I thought that was really poignant, you know, and the magic in the trenches. It really is. We know execution is everything. If you don't execute, you can come up with the best plan, best blueprint, best process in the world. If you don't execute it, c'est la vie, you know?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So the other thing I always ask people, because I think it's important, is I believe that successful people definitely do think differently, and they do the do differently. They really, really do. So what would you say some values that have really stayed with you through time thus far?
I would say first was a lesson that I needed to learn. And I realized it pretty early, and it really shaped how I think and what I do. And it was recognizing that society programs us for conformity, not success.
Nice.
So when I looked at that and saw the blueprint and how it all worked out, and how people like are super excited about life, and then in their late 40s, they're miserable and trying to figure out how to change it. They get in their 50s, they're trying to catch up financially. And I'm like, wow, if this is what life looks like, I just need a different blueprint. And that blueprint was learning to program my mind differently. So there were a couple parts of sort of different thinking. One was I understood that influence is a form of capital. And as a leader, I always understood the influence game is going to create a bigger audience and a higher quality audience. So there's a whole art form and business model around personal branding, influence building, how to market perceived value and make sure that you get paid for the value you have. These are all been kind of lessons that I do a little bit differently. I think the other thing for me is I was really a believer in what I call cultural addiction. Everything that I built was building scale. So I don't have what I call sole proprietor thinking anymore. I think in terms of using people as a team to collaborate and to make a bigger impact. But this isn't something that we're taught. Most of us are taught a skill set. We're very myopic. We want to control everything. And in my world, it never worked that way. So cultural addiction to me was a behavioral game. It's understanding people's needs, understanding that if I can get 3 needs met at a high level, I can addict people to anything. And what I learned to do really well is addict people to culture. But to do that, I had to realize there's some qualities that mattered. One is I know authenticity is critical in business, because if I am not authentic, what I lose is trust in the marketplace. And that's a price that, in my opinion, no entrepreneur can afford to lose. I knew part of that was also being transparent. And I have honestly, and Susie, I know I'm speaking to somebody that understands this. I can't tell you how many times in my life I've got in trouble for being transparent. but I think as a leader, you owe that to people that follow you. And it's not about wrapping narratives around anything and reshaping the facts so they look something different. I find that's what people don't respect in business these days. And then I was always, and I mean always, more so now than ever, impact focused. I always saw business as a game of making a difference. I also kind of recognized on the cultural side, and where I thought differently was I identified landmines. And I think there are really 2 types of business cultures, performance and political. And the political are much more about agendas, but they're really about what I call 3 cultural cancers: drama, division, and entitlement. And so much of my career was understanding how I think to and behave so that I don't enable that, so that I don't create that, because that always affected what business was for me, the impact part of things. And I think the other thing that was a little unique in how I program myself and what I do, I always prioritize performance over relationships. And for some people, that might seem like, wow, that doesn't sound very nice. it's not that I don't value relationships. Anybody that has a relationship with me would tell you I'm a great person to have a
Yeah,
relationship
you
with.
are. Yeah.
But I'm never going to support something that is bad for business and bad for culture and bad for the community that I lead. And I think that is a unique leadership trait, and it is unique to how I program my mind. And then I think the other thing is when it came to business, I realized business is an engagement game. It's a relationship game. And that's the cultural piece. And if you look at engagement from a behavioral standpoint, it's just a formula that, engagement equals the triumph of hope over experience. So if you look at it in anything in life, hope is just our belief system about the future. And so most people would be like, oh, that matters the most. Well, where does it come from? It comes from experiences. That's how all beliefs work. It's our brain looking for conclusions for what it's focused on. So I quickly realized, wow, the mastery of business is the mastery of the experience game. I need to create positive experiences. They need to be meaningful. I need to create hope around the experiences I need to confirm hope. And if I'm good at what I can do, I can elevate hope in people being part of what I'm a part of, whatever that might be, marketing a product, a community. So to me, the mastery of the engagement game and the experience part of things and learning to keep that journey going and building relationships was different than what I was taught. And it was part of the reprogramming that really shaped a lot of the success that I've had.
It's incredible. I mean, there's a whole book in just what you've given us in the last 10 minutes there, Gordon. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. So, something that I'm very passionate about is what I call the circle of genius, a peer group, if you will, and you're in mine. So we've obviously known each other for many, many years, 30 years in the Tony Robbins environment, which I'm very blessed about. But what would you say 2 qualities that I bring to the table are?
I mean, the one that, so it's like, it's asking somebody, say, what's Susie's identity? Who is Susie Mitchell? And for me, the first that is the easiest to see is you have an immense passion to serve. As long as I've known you, and every time we talk, I can't even remember a conversation we've had where it's like, look, here's what I want. It's always about how you're giving and making a difference. And I think that is innate to who you are. The other one for me that really jumps out is you have this amazing love of learning. I've never talked to you where you weren't trying to get better at your craft. And how many conversations we have, we're trying to figure out how to do it together.
Yes.
And I think there's so many more qualities, but when I thought about that, these were the 2 that jumped out at me. When I look at you, this is what I see, that passionate service-based leader that loves to learn and make a difference.
I do, and that's wonderful. Thank you so much, because it's so weird when somebody sees you in a different light or the same light, and it's when it's mirrored back to you. You well know it's lovely to hear, but it's also okay. Keep raising standards. Keep on that path, so to speak.
Yes.
The other thing I think I truly believe, going back to us, we both believe this, that there is potential in everyone. Everybody's got their gifts. Everybody's got their talents. I just think, what would be 2 distinctions that you think people could master even better to help them bring out their potential and their talents?
I think first you have to focus on what you can control. I find so many people get off track to tapping their potential because they give too much weight to what they don't control. And I think if you kind of look at anything in life, you only have 3 choices. Choice number 1 is acceptance. So it doesn't matter whether it's business or whether it's life, whatever choice I have, I can say, okay, I'll just accept what is. To me, that is a very common choice that people make that live in a comfort zone. And to me, a comfort zone is the death of potential. It is a slow death. It is something that I avoid like it's a cancer I don't want to be a part of. And I always saw acceptance, although there are obviously things you have to accept in life, as a form of defeat, as a form of, okay, I'm giving up here when I need to be pushing through. So I think you got to be careful with that choice. The second is what I find pretty much the norm. You focus on what you don't control. People's opinions. Oh, look what the economy's doing. Oh, look what the government's doing. Can you believe what this person did to me? And, oh, this person doesn't like me. And so much of my coaching got wrapped up into that. And what I always realized was when you focus on what you don't control, that's just a path to suffering. And it wasn't really my goal in life to suffer or to help other people suffer. So what's the choice of somebody that kind of really gets a lot done, you focus on what you can control or what you can influence. And that's sort of been a big thing to me in terms of that focus. So what was the other, can you ask the question one more time? Because there was another thing.
Yes, it was only to bring the greatness out of them. What are two arenas that you feel they could master? I love that.
Oh, yeah.
What they control, what they can't.
The other is, so I wrote something, a meme, it's been shared all over the world, that was the only thing you control in life is the programming of your mind. And I think that's really what you have to pay attention to. How is your mind programmed? Where do you have limited beliefs? So where is your thinking not producing the results you want? What habits do you need to change? Because the subconscious, with the repetition and emotions and what gets filmed in there, pretty much controls about 40% of everything we do. What standards do you hold yourself accountable to? So for me, I had 4 standards that has literally changed my life: the pursuit of abundance, the pursuit of excellence, work ethic, and the drive to impact people. And when those were my identity and I programmed those in my mind, everything worked well. So I think you always have to look at where you're at. And if you want to change the world, start with changing how you think. Because mindset dictates everything we do and every decision we make. And that's the problem. Sometimes people focus on the decision instead of what's driving it. And that's what you have to reprogram. And I know you know this. This is the world you live in. Understand how to reprogram minds. But I don't think most people understand it. Even something as simple as, okay, you focus on something, you give it meaning. 2 simple things. What do you mean focus on something, and how does that work? And it's just not innate to people.
No, it's not. It's not. Those are very clear distinctions. I love it. Thank you so much. You, as I say, we could just enlarge on this forever. I wish this was like an hour's call sometimes, because you've just got so much knowledge to partake. It's incredible, but we just keep them to 15 minutes because and I know people's attention span sometimes is crazy. So before we come to close, and obviously I want to talk about your book as well, but we all have, like you said, you're an avid learner, so am I. What's one book or one podcast that's massively influenced your life, either recently or in the past, that you would recommend to people to read?
I would say book-wise, there's 2 books that I would recommend anybody that changed my life. One is Flourish, which is Dr. Seligman's book on, it's really the science of fulfillment and happiness. Talks about an acronym called PERMA, being positive, staying engaged, building better relationships, having meaning in what you're doing, having some sense of achievement, and all the science behind, if this is what you focus on, how you can build happiness into anything. And the other is actually an old book written by Dr. Jim Loehr called The Power of Full Engagement. He was a peak performance guy that people would say, like, they're the best at what they do. How do we get better? And it really taught me how to think about time, because his theory was it's about managing energy cycles, not time. Physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional. And it gave me studies to support why that was important. So you can imagine, I grind a lot on the mental part with what I do. But when you look at the science, you realize how people get sick from this and how many years it takes off their life. You're like, well, maybe I need a little bit of spiritual time or physical time. And so it gave me that blueprint of understanding how to manage time and to be happy and perform effectively with time. And then I think on the business side, for me, the best thing that kind of jumps out is Netflix put out basically a cultural blueprint. It's called their Culture Deck. It's been viewed by over 10 million people. Wow. If you want to know what high performance looks like, go get that blueprint. It is a map of exactly what you need to think.
I read the book who started, the woman who was the CEO or CMO of Netflix, something powered. Oh, fantastic, about Netflix culture and everything. Amazing. Yes. But I'll go and look that up. I'll definitely go and look that up. Gordon, it's just crazy. It's come to the end. It flies by. Where can people get hold of you? Because you've got your book positioned right. And where can people get hold of that or you?
Yeah, so the book is actually a 3-year project that I started in 2016. It actually just went on sale last week. Yeah. It was really the industry that I'm a part of, direct selling and network marketing, that I've been a part of for a long time, is in transition. And I was positioned as an influencer. I was like, I need to build a blueprint for what change looks like, because I've seen so many lives transformed for the positive. And I know there's a lot of other stories on the other side, but I felt that responsibility as a leader It's something that's done so much for me and people I know. I need to give back to it. And that was what the book was about. So it's not positioned right because there's so much to celebrate in the industry. 27-year positive track record, over 200 billion in sales, over 120 million entrepreneurs involved in this, in over 170 countries. So there's something there worthwhile, but yet it has to evolve to stay relevant and to continue to lead in the marketplace at a time where the need to do that has never been greater. The marketplace is changing, the regulatory environment's changing, e-commerce has taken over how consumers shop. There's all this stuff going on, and that's what the book's about, is how you change all that. And so you can buy it at positionright.com or on Amazon. And equally, if anybody wants to reach me, I'm a very easy person to get up with. I'll make time to talk with people. Best is to email me at gordon@gordonhester.com.
Fantastic. Well, I'm truly grateful for all your insights. You know, we're obviously stay connected. We're still friends. We connect now and again, and it's wonderful to have you in my life. I am really grateful. So thank you, everybody. Please go to my website, susiemitchell.co.uk, and literally leave your email there, because I give away either a copy of one of my books or a session with me or some other goodies. So please do that after you've listened to this. And again, Gordon, thank you so much indeed. It's been a delight. Take care.
Thanks.